Hey guys, welcome back to Build a Better Adventure. In this particular video, we're going to be going over NPC motivations, but really in truth, we could really call this character motivations in general. You can use them for PC motivations, starting with a couple lessons that we learned in improv and how we can apply that to make a more believable character within an adventure. So with that in mind, let's think about some of the lessons from improv, and that starts with listen more than you speak. This is true for player characters as well as NPCs. As a DM, sometimes you need to kind of take a step back and allow the players to communicate back and forth, and you can kind of gauge what are the things you need to say and do in order to help progress the story. If you're a player character, making sure that you're listening to everyone can often lead to really good responses. Leave your ego at the door. So if you're playing a character with a fault, that's okay, a certain weakness, or if you need to be kind of goofy at a time, just be in the moment with your characters, whether you're the game master or you're a player. Don't fight for the turn, and the turn is kind of one of those things where when in an improv show, when you turn, it kind of leads to that punchline joke and kind of resolution of the situation. So allow players to kind of mingle in the turn, and it'll give them a greater sense of cracking that joke in your game, or getting to that one-liner that you might hear in an action film. Lastly, and this is really the emphasis of this particular video, know your motivation. And we used to use a particular backronym called GOAT, and that's not greatest of all time, but we'll get into exactly what that means in the next slide. What does GOAT stand for? I just found out that it's called a backronym. I thought it was an acronym, but evidently a backronym is when the word means something and then you create an acronym out of it. So in this case, it's goals, objectives, attitudes, and tactics. And let me briefly break it all down. A goal, you really want it to be one goal, one focused goal, and it should be high level. We'll kind of go into examples after this, but what is the character trying to achieve? Don't create a laundry list. In objectives, the objectives are kind of like, what are they doing now or planning to do in the near future to get to their goal? So this is where you might have 1 or 2, 3 bullet points that kind of list out all the things that they're doing in order to achieve that ultimate goal of theirs. Attitudes is how they feel about their goal. And not all goals are dreams. So I might be excited about my goal. I might be dreading my goal, right? It might be that if I get my goal, I have to sacrifice something else, and not really looking forward to the whole kit and caboodle. It might just be a piece of it that makes it my goal. Tactics is the most extreme thing they're willing to do for their goal. And get crazy here so that you really understand what are they willing to do in order to achieve their goal. So this is my NPC GOAT for Ajax, who is a character I created for Shadow the Demon Lord. His goal is to keep the Demon Lord at bay. His objective is to eradicate anyone who is trying to assist the Demon Lord's arrival. And there are times where this will create some tension because maybe the party wants to extract information from a particular character who was under the Demon Lord's influence to bring him about. And Ajax just wants to eliminate this particular person. His attitude, he is neither happy or sad about his goal. He just feels like the end game is if the Demon Lord ever arrives. So everything he does for everyone, and it just simply has to be done. And his tactic is he is willing to die to achieve this goal. So how will Ajax respond to various different scenarios? Let's say the adventuring party decides to pursue a bandit that is leaving town. Well, if this bandit isn't someone who is trying to summon the Demon Lord, it's just a purse that the town is willing to provide the party should they catch him, Ajax may depart the party if he doesn't think the bandit is trying to get the Demon Lord to show up. What about a party member being on the brink of being killed by a demon? And this kind of goes back to Ajax tactics. He is willing to die for his goal, and if he thinks the party member in question is truly dedicated to keeping the Demon Lord at bay, Ajax would sacrifice himself for the good of the party member who just decided to go after agents of the Demon Lord. So here's a PC goat that I created for a character called Sven, who was a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character in Rime of the Frost Maiden. And in session 0, he leaves his hometown with his brother, who's another player character. And he has a very strange relationship with his father. He is a wild sorcerer, which is a fact he keeps away from his brother. He has effectively no confidence. He is just absolutely afraid of his shadow. So he does everything to impress people and wants to be liked. That's his goal. And he is obeying every command that his brother gives. He's trying to impress everyone he meets, but he has no confidence and he doesn't like his goal at all. So his final tactic at the very beginning is that he would sacrifice himself for those that show him kindness. And I don't really mean that he would allow himself to die. It's really much more of he would go out of his way to do anything that anyone needed, and pretty much has very thin moral fiber because he's just, oh, you like me, I'll do anything you want. So Sven has this major character arc early in the game where he accidentally uses a fireball scroll and kills his brother's familiar. The other thing that happens is the party kills direwolves and they rescue a litter of direwolf puppies. And suddenly all of his motivations shift and he starts to realize he has to become responsible. And his goal is that he wants to be a responsible parent for these direwolf puppies and effectively be the father that his father did not have the strength to be. His objective, he does quite a few things, but he rescues 2 direwolf puppies in the game, and he chooses the really less than ideal multiclassing of being a sorcerer druid. And I'm talking, he had the minimum requirements to become a druid, but I was like, this makes sense for his character development. We're going to make him a druid as well. His attitude about this particular goal is he is stressed, but he cannot fail. Failing for him is absolute misery. And his most extreme tactic is that he decides he's willing to face any hardship or challenge for the direwolf pups. So how will Sven respond? Sven has to leave his direwolf pups to go to Neverwinter. If Sven cannot take the pups, and in this case he can't, he makes unbelievable deals and sacrifices to keep the puppies safe while he's away. And a lot of these sacrifices, he doesn't want to impact the rest of the party, but inevitably it kind of does, and allows the game master to get away with putting a lot more objectives into the game. Would Sven give up evenings for time with the direwolves? The answer is yes. Sven found the direwolves in game session 5. He trains them every day, including becoming a direwolf himself and training them how to become direwolves. And then he starts training them to do other things like drag people away from the fight or become a mount. And it doesn't happen overnight. It is almost every game session that I am missing out on particular opportunities to get treasure or get particular relationships, because that's not my goal anymore. My goal is to be this responsible parent, and I spend every evening working with the direwolf pups. This is Sven's final form, but remember, when creating a PC, there are 2 questions you have to answer, and they're way more important than GOAT, and that is, why is this PC adventuring? And the second one is, why does this particular adventuring party want to adventure with you? And if you answer these questions and you come up with something that's legitimate, you'll find that you'll have better interactions with the party in general, and it will make for a lot more fun. So for creating any character, remember these 3 rules. Dark and mysterious backgrounds and whatnot, leave that for the NPCs and villains. You can have a secret, but the bottom line is having extensive information that the party doesn't know about you isn't fun or exciting, and it doesn't allow the party to interact with you in a meaningful way. So just remember that. Leave that stuff for the NPCs and the villains. Flaws are good things. In fact, flaws like ones I gave Sven help him actually create a character arc. So at first he has no confidence. He's very wishy-washy. He's all about people pleasing to the nth degree. And suddenly he becomes a father, and it has meaning for him to the point that even when he has to discipline the direwolf puppies, he starts to realize that some of the things his father did wasn't as, he's not as tragic a character as he thought at the beginning of the game. Also remember that basic motivations are the best goals. Don't get hyper complicated with 19 different things that make up your goals. It's, am I loved? Do I want fame? Do I want to be rich? Do I want to live forever? Real basic goals allow people to actually understand what your motivations are, and creates empathy between you and other player characters, or between the NPCs and other characters. It also allows room in the story for your character to grow. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Again, here's the Rumble and YouTube links, as well as the email. If you disagree with me on anything that I talked about with character motivations, don't hesitate to leave me a comment saying how you handle character motivations. I'm always looking at new strategies to make this work. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and follow, and give a thumbs up or a like. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Take care.